What's up, everybody? I'm Adam Lucy. I'm here with my buddy James Murphy. This is episode 7 of the Loosenup podcast. Thanks for listening. And James, how we doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing fucking good.
That's what's up. That's what's up. It's always good to be doing good.
Yeah, it's definitely better than be doing not good.
Yep, that's for sure.
How was the weekend for you?
My weekend was definitely good. I can't remember off the top of my head what I did. It's Sunday right now, right?
Yes, it is Sunday.
Oh, okay. So last night it was my mom's birthday, and then I hung out with you later, and then Friday what did I do Friday? I don't remember.
Paint?
I definitely painted during the day and stuff, but I don't remember if I did something at night. But yeah. How about you?
What did I do this weekend? Oh, I went on the boat one day. It was pretty chill with a couple of my boys. Celebrated his graduation from college.
Nice.
So we celebrated education. And I also watched the UFC fights last night. You participated in that as well?
I did. UFC is really entertaining.
Yeah, we saw. I feel like you didn't really fuck with UFC, not in terms of like it, but you just didn't really follow it. And we saw some like good knockouts.
Yeah. There's something about there's something natural about enjoying watching humans fight for whatever reason. That's like a regular person thing to enjoy, and after giving it a chance, I enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, I think I said to you, it's funny that, I mean, first of all, I'm a huge UFC fan. Like, definitely follow that pretty well.
So you follow it like?
I follow it pretty well. I don't know every fighter and stuff, and I might butcher some names, but I definitely try to watch a lot of it. I'll buy a lot of the pay-per-views, even if they're not that good. But it's just funny because I said to you, I'm paying $65 right now to hopefully see someone get seriously injured and get permanent CTE, and I'm just totally fucking with everything,
right.
all that about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's interesting to me when I think about it like that, but yeah, I like the sport for sure.
It's an interesting concept for sure. I mean, if you think about it back in the day, in Roman times, I think they had people fighting lions, right?
Oh, that's
or
a
was
fact.
that was a real thing, right? Where the king would have his like seat, and
they would have. So I don't know if you ever seen like Spartacus or whatever that series. It kind of details that history a little bit, but yeah, they would have these slaves that they'd capture a lot of times, and on Sundays or whatever their Super Bowl or football day was, you know what I mean? They would have everyone gathering in the Coliseum. They have all these different fights that they would organize, and sometimes they would fight animals. Yes, like lions, I think.
Yeah,
being one of them.
That's fucking wild. I didn't know that they were slaves that did it though. I thought they were like trained professionals.
No, I mean some of them were were soldiers that they fought against and ended up capturing. So it's almost like a prisoner of war type deal.
How about fucking what's it called when you have that red flag and bulls are just fucking charging after it, and you're standing just holding it, and then you get out of the way at the last second?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You don't know the name?
I don't know the name for the guy.
Bullfighting?
Bullfighting is a sport. Yes.
Yeah, is that what it is? Is that
yes.
bullfighting? You got to be fucking tapped to be doing that. And bull riding's another one.
Bull riding's crazy.
Anything with a bull, why would you I respect it, but why would you do it?
It's also interesting too, in that sport they have rodeo clowns, and your job is to literally distract whatever animal is going apeshit inside of this ring. So if someone falls off a bull, they can get away this injured person from this fucking animal that's just going buck wild. And as the rodeo clown, that's your job, is to bring the attention to you and then run away from the animal.
I wonder how much your average bull rider and rodeo clown make.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I can always Google it.
Yeah. It's also an occupation where it's like, how did you get into that?
I'm going to guess they probably didn't do great in school, and I'm also going to second guess that they definitely just kind of grew up around it.
They had to have grown up around it. There's like no other way to get into something like that. Kind of like speed walking. Have you ever seen speed walking in the Olympics?
I was going to say, wasn't it an Olympic sport at one point?
Yeah. It's just like that's something. How does someone get into it? I'm curious.
Damn. So I guess it's called the PBR. That's the league that fucking bull riders are in. And they said you can make $2 million if you're like top of the top.
Oh shit.
paid out $9 million to riders. Actually, $9 million to the riders, but we don't know how many riders that is. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but it said 2-time world champion bull rider J.B. Mauney has earned the most money of any rider, over $7 million. But it doesn't say how long he's been riding. But that's still a lot of money to be earning riding bulls.
Yeah. Also,
It's 8 seconds they have to stay on it, right?
I believe it is.
I have no idea, but holding on to a bull with one arm sounds like a really difficult task.
But it's also leg muscles too, because you have to fucking like squeeze the torso of the bull so you're staying on. Because those things are, like you said, like 1,300 pounds, just going fucking crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to be sick in the head. Like, there's no way that you're sane if you're fucking with bulls like that.
I looked up how much does a rodeo clown make on an annual basis. It said $80K, but then it says Newark, New Jersey rodeo clown $43 to $46K.
Huh.
So you probably make $50K.
Yeah.
Let's call it, somewhat in the middle.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't do it.
Oh, I wouldn't do it either. How much would it take for you to be a rodeo clown a year?
Oh, how much money?
Yeah.
If you're paying me like $500,000, like fuck yeah, I'll do that.
I'll do it for less than that too, honestly. I'd probably, if someone came to me with a contract and was like, "Hey, I'll teach you everything you need to know about being a rodeo clown. What's the least amount of money you'll take to do it?" I'd do it for $325,000 a year.
Yeah, that's not bad. If I was doing, I'd probably go to like 275, 300 minimum.
I would too if I didn't have to like move and change my life. See, while I was thinking about it, I was thinking, I probably have to move to Texas or some shit. I probably have to like make some serious edits in my life like that. Like, I kind of want to just stay around here,
Right.
in Mass. So say if I was a rodeo clown in Massachusetts, right? I would do it for less than 325, and I'd probably do it for 275.
That's a good number.
Yeah,
Because
because
some lawyer type number shit. Like,
yeah, you're also just, your life's pretty in danger. So I'd have to be getting something good,
yeah, I don't even know if they do. They definitely do rodeo shits around here, but I think it's probably out west in like Worcester type deal or Western Mass.
Yeah,
I don't
and I'm
know.
sure it's not a regular occurrence. Like, it probably just happens.
When was the last time you rode a horse? Have you ridden a horse before?
Yeah, when I was like a child. The last time I rode a horse, I was probably like six years old or something.
Really?
I remember the last horse that I remember riding, I was in first grade. So that, what are you, 6 or 7 in first grade?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you're 7.
When's the last time you rode a horse?
I think I was around the same age as you. Probably at some fair, and it was probably a pony, and I told everyone it was a horse. So I think there's a difference between
There is.
ponies. I think ponies a little
They're
smaller.
small. They're like mini horses, honestly. And I want to I don't remember what I was going to say.
Mini horses fuck.
Yeah.
So, a funny story, my friend, he lives like up in the Essex area, and to get to like his the marina of Essex or whatever, you have to drive past this certain person's house, and they have 2 mini horses, and they're always chilling out front in the front yard. And I never knew that mini horses can live to like 40 something years old, dude.
Really, man. I didn't know that at all.
Remember Robin Big, that show?
Yep.
He had the mini horse.
Mm-mm.
Really?
I mean, MTV in general, I really only I knew all the shows on it and stuff, but I only watched it if Viva La Bam was on, Jackass, or something music related.
I feel that. I liked Robin Big just because I liked the big, Big Black. That was his name, right?
Yeah.
He was the man.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. for real. But that show was entertaining as hell because that his cousin Drama too is also like a big dick swinging now. And the show, he was like his little bitch assistant,
Right.
which is funny.
You want to know what got me into listening to podcasts is listening to Drama's podcast.
It's short story long, right?
Yeah, I was he had somebody on that I was a fan of. It's Nick Diamonds, who he owns Diamond Supply. If you know that
I
clothing
know
line.
the shirts. I've seen
Yeah,
those.
he's the owner of it, and he had him on, so that's how I listened to it. And then I just started listening to his podcast a lot because I thought it was interesting, and he had good guests on. And then from there, I mean, I just kind of branched out and listened to like more and more podcasts But like it was actually, so you bring up drama. It was actually his podcast that like got me into podcasts in general.
Yeah, I remember you were the one who told me about Short Story Long, and I listened to a couple of those at work, and he had some pretty crazy fucking entrepreneurs on. He had like Damon John on one time, so he had some pretty cool people, and the name is kind of catchy.
Yeah, because because if you were to ask Wiz Khalifa like, hey, how are you where you are, he'd give you a long story short version. So his podcast is Short Story Long, where it's like you get the their life story in a way.
Yeah, you have like a sit down hour conversation, and
Yep.
you get to know all about those motherfuckers.
Right, and but that's the podcast that got me into podcasting. Then of course, I got into Joe Rogan, and then et cetera. Then from there, I mean, what if you're into comedians in general? I mean, they all have podcasts. So I was just listening to all their podcasts, and
I feel like everyone has podcasts now.
yeah,
We fucking have one.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
So if we're making one, literally anyone can make one.
Absolutely. Yep. That's
and it's
true.
funny today because we're actually not recording in the usual spot. We're recording on Adam's couch, so we're
Right.
just chilling. Curtis, his dog, has been moseying around. He's pretty goofy.
Mm-hmm.
I gave him a bunch of head scratches, and he liked it.
Yep.
So
Yeah, we're not doing the video for this episode because of reasons that it would just be too long to explain. But yeah. So honestly, I like sitting on a couch instead of sitting at a table.
yeah, sitting on the couch is way more chill. And I'm looking at one of your paintings, and he's looking at me back because it's a secret. I don't know if you want to divulge who it is.
Oh, it's Steve Urkel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna put him up on Instagram later on. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I didn't fucking let the monkey out the bottle there.
Oh no, yeah. You could say pretty much.
That really does look just like Steve Urkel, though.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. I started that yesterday and finished it today. That rarely happens. Usually they take like.
You started today and finished it?
No, I started it yesterday.
Oh.
And I finished it today.
I was going to say, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's only fucking 4 and you finished that?
No, yeah. By 4 yesterday, I had a good amount painted, but the background and stuff I didn't have painted, and I did all that today.
Man, I always hated those projects in school where, for example, one of my classes I had to write a paper that was, I think it was 50 pages or something. And the teacher it was like
bad.
in one of the semesters, right? It was like one of my business classes. And they were like, yeah, it's not bad. Just write a page a day. Page a day will get it done quickly. First off, great idea. I totally understand where they're coming from. I would say the same thing if I was a teacher. But no fucking way.
Right.
I'm writing a page of this every single day.
No way.
And, dude, and obviously, think of how many people probably wrote all 50 pages in like the last 3 days.
That would have been me.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you bite off more than you can chew in terms of getting a school project, and you think it's going to, I don't know, sometimes not take that long, and then you just fucking procrastinate and wait till the last minute. Like I typically did for that. And I forget what I did. I think I honestly wrote 10 pages at one point, and then I just banged out the rest of 40, like kind of close to the deadline type
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah, I remember my junior year of high school, I had an English teacher that I knew wasn't going to fail me. And cuz I just knew him.
He was the homie.
He was the homie. I'm pretty sure the paper had to be 6 pages.
6?
5 or 6, right?
In high school, though, right?
In high school. Yeah, this is the paper that was due, very similar to kind of how you were just describing that paper, but it was not 50 pages. And I remember I just knew he wasn't going to fail me, and I waited to the last second to do it. And I used a 16 size font, which is very against the rules.
Yeah, I think it's 12 times Roman is like the font
is what you use, right? And I used 16, and I did 4 pages, and he gave me a 60.
Fuck yeah.
Because I knew he wasn't gonna fail me. But
yeah, 60's passing.
Yeah, but like just think about how much of like not giving a fuck that is really at the end of the day, where I used, it's one thing that I didn't have enough pages in general, but I used 16-inch font.
Yeah, and a lot of times what kids would do too, not me because I was a bitch, but they would change the margins as well on the side.
Right.
So you could change it just by like 2 millimeters. Oh, another one was making the periods bigger.
I heard that was one I never did, but people told me about that.
It could honestly make a half a page difference if you made every period. I forget the font, but it was way bigger, and you couldn't really notice it. It almost just looked like the printer fucked up or something.
Yeah.
And it would, like I said, give you an extra half a page or a full page. Because sometimes if you're done with your paper and your thoughts are all down on the page and you're just adding extra bullshit, like, what's the point?
Yeah.
So that's something I would, if I'm a teacher, I'm going to say, yeah, it's 4 to 6. And, hey, if it's 4 pages and it's good, I'll give you a good grade. But if you give me 6 pages and it's just fucking you spitting out dog shit, I'm going to give you a bad grade.
Quality over quantity.
100%.
Yeah.
100%, dude.
Yeah. Oh, man. You want to hear something that happened to me one time when it comes to a paper? So the paper I remember was 8 pages, right? And I was in college. I don't remember what year of college it was. And this paper, it was sociology or psychology. It was one of those two classes. I think it was sociology, the class. And this paper was literally like a huge part of your final grade, like real big. Like, I don't remember the percentage, but it was around like 40 or 50%.
Right.
Like, if you need to do well on this to pass, basically. And I wasn't doing well in the class because I just wasn't trying. I was probably, I was always late or not going in general. And we had this huge paper. It was 8 pages. And all I remember is that the paper was about technology-related things. And we had to get the topic that we wanted to write about approved through an email. So we would send her, the professor, an email saying, like, I want to write about this. And she would say, like, okay, you can do that. So I waited till the legitimate last day that I possibly could have to even send her a topic, let alone start the paper. Like, you were supposed to send her a topic at, like, the beginning of the semester. It was, like, a long time ago. And I was just then, with, like, a day or two left, sending her the topic, okay? Now, the topic that I chose was cell phones, okay?
What about them? Just cell phones in general?
I don't remember what the paper... I remember the paper was about electronics, but I don't remember the detail of what we had to write about when it came to electronics, right? So I just decided I'm going to write about cell phones. It was the first thing that popped in my head. I send her an email saying, is it okay if I write about cell phones? And I started writing the paper right away without even, I was like, she's going to approve it. I only have a day to do this. Like, I'm just going to get started on this paper about cell phones. So I really think it was with 1 day left. I think this was the last day I could do it, and then it was due the next day. So I end up writing this 8-page paper, however long that took, and I was pushing it, like, I pushed it to the very end, and I was cramming it in this day. Like, it was stressful.
Showing out Adderall.
Yeah. And it was stressful, I remember. And then I passed the paper in the next day, and then whenever it got graded, I looked up the grade. I didn't even look at my email to see what she said back to the cell phones thing. And it just said 0. Like, I got a straight up 0 on this thing. And I thought it was some type of mistake. So I looked at I basically, like, I asked her, like, hey, is this a mistake? I got a 0 on this when I did it. And I find out that on the syllabus, right, which is basically like,
yeah,
it tells you exactly how things
should be done in the class.
The directions.
You're right.
On the syllabus about this project, it gave examples of electronics you couldn't use. And the first example it said was, you can't use things like cell phones. And then it listed a bunch of shit. So there was like a list of stuff that we couldn't talk about in the paper. And it just goes. So I wait till the very last day to send her this topic. It's a topic that it's just showing how lazy I am that I didn't remotely read the syllabus.
Oh, this lady fucking hates you.
Right. Yeah, essentially. And then it was just really embarrassing because when I was asking her, like, hey, what's this about? And find out that's the reason, it was just like, oh, man, I just did this to myself. I can't even... she must have told me through email, right? Because I remember the next class going up to her, and I remember her also saying that we can't redo it. There's no redoing it at all. But I just figured, like, I got a 0 on this shit. I really want to ask her if I can redo it. And I went up to her after class and I said, so is there any chance you'll let me redo that? And she was like, well, no, I'm sorry. And I just went, yeah, I can't even blame you.
Really?
Yeah,
What'd you end up
that's literally what I said to her. I failed the class.
You
and I
did.
failed the class because of this paper. Because I did good enough elsewhere in the class to like pass. But this paper being a 0 was literally like 50% of our grade.
Yeah, you can't be getting zeros on something that's 50% of your grade.
Right. So then I failed the class. But it was just like it was such laziness, and I felt like an idiot because the first thing it said that we can't talk about is cell phones. And I waited to the very last minute.
Adam, buddy.
Yeah.
That is fucking wild. It's funny that you sent her the email and started writing the paper as if it was, oh, yeah, she's going to prove it. It's cell phones, of course.
Right.
And then on the syllabus, number 1 was no cell phones.
Yep. And only a day I'm pretty sure less than 24 hours to finish this project is when I sent her the email.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Procrastination's a fucking real thing.
Yep. And I just remember just asking her if I could redo it and her saying no. She said no very nicely, might I add. She was a nice lady.
Was she hot?
If she wanted to go to a movie and hang out after, I'd probably do it.
How old is she?
She was probably like 30s.
That's pretty young to be a college professor.
Yeah, she was if I could guess, like 35.
Okay. You remember her name?
I don't. I had her like 3 times though.
Did you have her after this occurrence?
I did.
Oh my god.
I did.
Did you have a favorite class again, though?
I had her for 3 classes, and 2 of the 3, I don't even want to. 2 out of the 3 I failed. Put it that way.
Yeah, well, that's. Oh, you failed another one.
So I failed another one, and the reason, the reason is because when it comes to a student, I'm a piece of shit. But when it comes to like an excuse I'm giving, is that was the year I was like driving into school. I lived in Alston. So I was commuting, and I had that class bright and early, and I would always hit traffic going in. But that wouldn't be the problem. It would be trying to find parking. Like, it's so hard to find parking on Beacon Street that early and stuff. And a lot of time, and it's like if you're more than 15 minutes late or something to a class, it's an absence.
Oh, okay.
So I would be in the scenario a lot where I was looking for a parking spot, and it was 15 minutes. I would have been like 20 minutes late to class, and it would have been an absence anyway, so I just didn't go. And that was what backfired at the end.
I forget. Did you didn't always commute into Fisher?
No, my freshman year I lived in the dorms, and then my senior year I lived in the dorms. And my sophomore year I lived at home here in Malden, and then my junior year I lived in Alston.
Okay.
On an off-campus apartment.
Fucking, you were all over the map.
I was. Well, because the thing is like, technically speaking, I mean, I could have commuted from Malden the whole time because Fisher's right there.
But that would suck.
Yeah, exactly. It would suck, and it would just be a lot less convenient. It would have been like half the price each year. But yeah, I really wanted that that full college experience, and I knew that living at home just wasn't gonna do that,
Oh,
but
100%.
I did 1 year. My sophomore year I lived at home, and honestly I don't like remember that year at all.
Really?
Do you have any years that you just don't remember shit?
Yeah, a lot of them.
My sophomore year at college, I just I don't remember like anything.
Yeah, I mean, I have like certain peak memories, right? Like in high school and shit, and I definitely remember high school a lot, and college too. But I feel like where it's pretty foggy for me is like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade.
Of course, that I feel like that's natural.
Yeah, like that's foggy as fuck for me.
Of course, yeah, that was like, it was well over 10 years ago at this point.
I remember some teachers I had though. I remember like some names. Miss Rutstein, shout out, math teacher. I think she's dead now, but fuck you.
I remember all of my teachers' names every year up until 12th grade. So if you ask me my homeroom teacher in literally any grade, I'd be able to tell you. And if you ask me like science teacher sophomore year high school, I could tell you.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
See, yeah, that's for me. Like I can remember some teachers.
I can remember. So like I remember all my teachers. In homeroom when you have the same teacher for like a bunch of classes throughout the day when you're younger. I remember every one of those teachers' names, and I remember up until 8th grade, I remember every teacher I ever had and their names. In high school, the same thing. But once it got to college, I don't remember like any. I remember a couple, but I don't remember like any.
Yeah, I don't remember too much in college. I remember like my main professors in the business management and stuff. But if I had to take a sociology class to fucking just go against, it was called CLACS, which was essentially the required course you needed to take to graduate. You could be a senior and be in all these like freshman class and just wait to the last minute, which is what a lot of kids did. But yeah, I don't really remember people of that type. But speaking of English teachers, though, when you said that was your homie in high school, I had an English teacher in high school as well, my freshman year, and she was attractive as fuck. She was only like 20, I want to say 26, dude.
Really?
As like a teacher. And I remember she had tattooed on her foot, "Stay Gold," from that book, The Outsiders.
Yeah.
You remember that book?
I do, yeah. We had to read that book, which I didn't like read, but as a class, like I learned about it when they would talk about what they read.
That book is actually very good.
My freshman year of high school, I had a solid amount of attractive teachers, and they were all 24.
Really?
Yeah, I remember that they were all like rookies in the sense of like the teaching game, and they were 24 years old. And looking at that now when I'm 26, I'm like, dude, 20. At the time, I thought 24 was such an adult, but dude, 24 is like barely an adult.
That'd be intimidating kind of going into, especially Maul and I too. Like, I don't know. It would just be kind of intimidating if you're a 24-year-old fucking
She was pretty.
95-pound
they were
woman.
pretty too.
Yeah. How would you control a class if you had one unruly student and he was just fucking causing a ruckus and it was your first week and shit, you know?
There was a class in college that I took where I actually had a crush on the professor. She was 25 and I was 22. Just to give it some background. I just had a huge crush on her. And
probably weren't the only one. Was she that hot?
She was really pretty. And she also just had like she was really, really pretty, and she was also just like an angel. Like she was just so nice, and it was,
What if she just had unprotected sex every night you didn't even know?
Yeah, she might. But
I just ruined your crush.
I got a 96 as my final grade and never missed one class. So basically, it showed me I should probably have crushes on my professors more often.
Or just have more hot teachers.
Yeah. Well, I just like I said, there was like this is like a 3-year difference. So it wasn't like she was 37.
Right.
And I don't know, I had a crush on her, and I was just like, you know what? I want her to not think I'm an idiot, and I ended up getting a 96.
That's like high.
That's
high for you not to sound mean.
No, it's perfectly fine. That's like the highest grade I've gotten since I was like in 4th grade at the time. I got straight A's up until 5th grade because like if you don't, like you really got some issues. But no, you know what? It was probably 7th grade where I started sincerely not giving a shit about school.
That's when it starts to matter too. 7th grade for like high schools. But if you knew you were going to mall,
well, yeah, right. If you're gonna try to go to some fucking fancy ass high school, yeah, it matters. But I remember finding out in 8th grade that 8th grade doesn't matter when it comes to college. And once I found that out, it was a wrap.
Right.
It was just like I was like just such a fucking
just a bad student.
I misbehaved a lot. Like not like a punk. I don't know if any of my teachers would label me a punk, but I definitely would piss off teachers a lot and just like only care about having fun with my friends. I
mean, that's solely a fair thing to want to do, especially in 8th grade when you're right, it does not matter at all.
Right. And I would just do, we would, and the friends I had in my class, it just wasn't, it was like all my friends that I would misbehave with, So like it was just, I always had someone to fuck around with, and we would just do shit, like little shit, like when the teacher would be writing something on the board, we would be breaking crayons, and we would just be throwing it at each other while she's like writing on the board.
Right, type of shit like that. I remember
Dude, when I switched high schools and went to Governors, that's when it's interesting because all the kids I grew up with playing hockey, super close with, like they were like, some of my best friends, right? And we play in hockey tournaments together, as you would play in baseball tournaments. And you would always do mischievous shit together as a kid, just being little shit kickers.
Yeah.
And I just remember like my first couple of days going into the new high school and I seeing all my boys again that I played high school with. And I just remember just being to myself, oh my God, I'm with these guys and I'm in a classroom setting with. And the first couple of days, we're just goofing off, just, talking, just catching up. And it was just funny because we would do the same type of shit, And it's kind of hard to control. When you're with one of your best friends that you hang out with a bunch outside school and you have a class together, it's a fucking wrap, like you said.
Yep. I took Latin in high school. I think this was my junior year. And the second quarter, the assigned seats, right? You know Dakota Pellegrini, right?
Yeah.
So the assigned seats were me and Dakota Pellegrini. If you're listening, this is a friend of mine who I played baseball with and stuff. Our assigned seats were us in the back corner. And we were both really bad students. So it's not like I had a friend, like, because I had a lot of friends where it would be like I'd sit next to them, but I'd be able to cheat off them.
Right.
And they were like smart. But like me and Dakota, we just both were shitty students, and it was just like us in the back corner not listening at all. And so the result of the final grade was, I'll never forget. It goes to show that she liked me more because so at Malden High it went by numbers. Like you wouldn't get like a A-, it would be like a 91. You know what I mean?
Right, on the report card.
Right. And
do you even call them that anymore, report cards?
I would assume so.
And it's all online now too, but besides the point.
Yeah. So what she was doing the thing where like at the end of the term, she's like, all right, so if you want to know your grade, I'll call you up and you can come look at it quietly, right? And me and Dakota, we're just wondering like, what is our grade? And honestly, I'm thinking something along the lines of a 45, a 50.
Jesus.
I know I didn't pass because it was just brutal how much me and Dakota just didn't take the class serious, and we were just in the back corner, so we would pack lips.
What subject was it? Do you remember?
Latin.
Oh Christ!
So literally out of all like things, it was
might as well have been fucking Chinese,
right? Exactly. And so, so he got called up first, and he saw his grade, and he comes back to the seat laughing and puts his head down, and I'm like, "What'd you get?" And he goes, "I got an 18," and then he said, if I got an 18, dude, you must have got like a 5, right? And that pissed me off. And then I went up and found out my grade, and I got a 19. So the teacher literally gave me 1 point higher than Dakota when we did the same quality of work. And it literally just showed. And when he said that means you got like a 5, and I went up and found out I got a 19, one more than him, I was just like, no, motherfucker. She actually likes me more than you, clearly. Like, that's such a sign of that.
Yeah, and also, she probably just knew that would be so funny for her to see the reaction between you guys, like, who got 1 point higher.
Yeah, and now at 26, right? Like, if myself in high school, especially junior year is pretty important for grades.
Oh, junior year is the most important.
Right.
If you're going to focus in school and one grade from fucking first grade until senior high school, just dial in junior year.
Yeah. And I was just taking it as a joke, and looking back on it now, it's like, dude, that is a bad fucking grade. In the term before it, because it was the second quarter this happened, the first quarter I got like a 75, but I had someone to cheat off of.
Right.
Someone I didn't even know.
You always need one of them.
She was just real cool about it. And then, cheating is short term. It's short term. It helps you in the meantime, but if you're ever not around someone that you can cheat off of, it really dicks you.
That's totally true, but I also feel like for cheating as well, if you're taking a class like a Latin and it's literally a 1 semester type thing, or if you're just taking it 1 year and you're not taking the next year and you have someone to cheat off of, fucking just do it, because you're not taking that class ever again.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's, I don't know, if it's like a Spanish and you're going into Spanish 2 and then Spanish 3 and you have to stay in that and you're cheating,
and maybe that person's not in your class the next year, you're fucked.
Yeah, well, that was the original plan. Is I was supposed to take Latin 2 the next year. Because I remember there was some rule, right, where for like state schools or something along these lines, you have to take 2 consecutive years of a language, which is honestly like, why do you even have that rule? Why does it have to be 2 consecutive years? And so I think my freshman year, I'm pretty sure I didn't take any languages. And then my sophomore year, I took Latin because I remember I took Spanish. Ironically, now I actually know a good amount of Spanish, but taking Spanish my whole school career, like kindergarten to 8th grade, I was never good at it. And my mom was just like implying like, yo, you should probably take Latin.
Fuck Latin.
And after I was like learning about it, it was just not as easy as she made it sound. And and so then sophomore year, I ended up like getting out of the class as a whole, and so did Dakota, because of how fucked we were. But it was way past the point you could withdraw. Like you couldn't even how there's a certain point where you can't. We were so past that point. And I don't even know how we made it happen, but we did.
How the fuck did you stay eligible to play sports?
I'd always find a way. But don't get me wrong. I mean, I was also, I'd say 2 out of the 4 years when it came to baseball, it was like we were wondering if I was going to be eligible.
Right.
But then, it's if you just show the teacher like, hey, I need to pass this class, I'll just stay after as much as you want. Whatever I need to do to pass this class, I will do. Usually they work with you.
Right.
So what I learned early when it came to school was like, get the teacher on your side when it comes to like, so if you do bad, make sure that the teacher likes you, because they won't fail you if that's the case. There's been a lot of scenarios where the teacher didn't want to fail me, so that's why they didn't fail me.
Yeah, and I think it's to your point too. It's like, don't be like a punk or show them attitude. At least if you're gonna be like the worst student in the class, at least be like a nice person.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And when I got to high school, I mean, I was never I never really talked back to teachers or anything. Like, it would be more so just getting caught doing something like funny.
Yeah, I feel that.
Like
like drawing a dick.
Yeah, something dumb like that, or like playing the penis game, yelling penis, or like, that kind of stuff. But
I remember one time in school, this is when me and my friend Nate were in the same math class. Horrendous fucking choice for the school, putting me and Nate. And we said, and you could choose your own seats. Oh. So we would sit next to each other. Yeah, we got moved quite a bit.
I would love to be with Nate in a class. I feel like that'd be really entertaining.
Dude, so we're in this one class. I'm pretty sure it was in like pre-algebra or like algebra something. Mm-hmm. And there used to be like this little because it was in the math and science building on the campus, and there used to be this little like lizard / salamander thing that was in the science room that you could go like look at and stuff. And we were like very enthused, or I forget infatuated by this fucking salamander thing. And one time we came to class and we were both like pretty buzzed because we were like boozing in the dorms, like absolute just degenerates on like a Tuesday. I don't know, just making bad decisions. Anyways, we get into this class and I go, yo, it'd be really funny if you got the salamander and brought him into class. And he just laughed. He's like, you think I should? And I go, fuck yeah, I think you should. So
the salamander was outside?
He was in the math and science building, like in a separate room, kind of,
okay.
Right? It wasn't like a classroom. It was more like a viewing room of a bunch of shit. And this thing just happened to be in this room.
Okay.
So me and Anna sit next to each other. I say, hey, it'd be really funny if you brought this thing in. And he giggles and he says, you think I should? So we didn't really have to ask to go to the bathroom. It was more of just be an adult and walk out and come to the bathroom, which wasn't always the thing in high school.
Right. It was like that in college for me. But
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, fuck, it should be,
Yeah, right.
Professor, can I go to the restroom? So anyways, Nate goes out of the classroom, and I just remember him coming back in, and it was like a fucking little kid just peed, and somewhere funny or something, and he came in just smirking, and I know what he's smirking about.
Yeah.
And he's walking very slow, and I'm like, no way he has this. And then he goes, yo, it's in my pocket. And I just look down, you see his pocket just going fucking crazy, wiggling around, and I just remember fucking with him, going, hey, if they get scared, they lose their tails and they just stop bleeding. And he looks at me like he just saw a ghost. He goes, dude, nuh-uh. And I said, yeah, man, I think like he might lose his tail. He just goes, he goes, oh my God, dude, I think it's bleeding in my pocket. And it's just not losing his tail. And he just fucking, I'm like fucking with him, like punching him in the leg, like fucking with this thing, just getting him going real crazy. And then he just gets out of the seat and like gets out of the room, like goes to put it back. But it was just really funny that he like got out of class to bring this lizard in his pocket and sat down for maybe like 30 seconds and then just got back up and went out.
Yeah,
the teacher's probably like, what are you doing?
That's real funny.
Yeah, just some good old antics. I also remember showing up to that same class and drinking a Four Loko or something during the day and coming into that class because it was the last class of the day, and we had a test, like not a quiz, a test. And you know me, I was a pretty good student, so I kind of had my shit together in terms of when we have tests and when you don't. That's something you should definitely be aware of a lot of times as a student. And I just looked at Nate one time because he was with me on this, and I go, bro, are you fucking kidding me? Like, we have a test right now, and I got a 73. Didn't study, and I was drunk.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, that's still a very bad grade for me, but like,
oh, dude, I'd be jumping up and down for a 73.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I was like, beggars can't be choosers at this point.
Yeah, when it came to tests in particular, I would actually like do the work, whether the quality was good or not. I would do the work, and tests are what dicked me because the quality of my work, even though it was all done, I didn't try on it. So when it came to tests, I mean, I was pretty screwed. I would always, and every time I thought I did decent, I would do miserably bad. And every time I thought I did miserably bad, I would do decent.
Right. Isn't it weird how it works like that?
Yeah, it's very weird how it works like that.
Yeah, and point of emphasis, I definitely wasn't a fucking booze bag in high school. But during the summertime at prep school, it almost was like a college schedule where some days you'd only have 2 classes. And you could have a class at 9 a.m. and then I'll have another one until 2 p.m. And it'll be like your last class of the day and then your activity in the afternoon, and then you don't have anything. And in the springtime, or the fall rather, or whatever, I don't know. When you start school, it's the fall, right?
Fall,
yeah.
yep.
But it's still nice out, almost like summer. And I played recreational tennis. So it wasn't really a fucking serious activity after school, and that would be the time that, maybe have a drink or two in the dorm. So I'm not a booze bag.
I miss honestly like living away and being with like a bunch of like your boys and shit, and like
It's the most fun.
Yeah,
It really is the most fun.
Because if we're living away now, it's like not the same camaraderie, in the sense of like a bunch of, you know what I mean?
I feel you. Even if you live with like your good boys now, I mean, you definitely have a sense of camaraderie, but you also like fucking adults and have jobs and
Yeah, basically.
definitely have responsibilities and stuff. I don't know. It's different in college where it could be a weekday or you want to party on a Thursday. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just
Put it this
a little
way.
different.
Put it this way, like when you're in college or like in high school, when you were in prep school, it's a bunch of people at one place, let alone from who you're living with. So it's like when you go down to the calf, like you see a bunch of people on the way.
Little community.
Right, exactly. And it, especially if you play a sport, like, and you just see your teammates and stuff, like when you're going around campus, or like you hang out with a lot of your teammates, and just that kind of camaraderie is what I mean. Because nowadays it's like you said, we're adults, and it's like you can still have fun with like a bunch of people, but it's not the same idea. It's like it can be the same amount of fun, but it's not the same idea.
Yeah, it feels way different.
Because like when you're at school, you're just with a bunch of people that are their assigned place is to be at the school too.
Right, when you're all doing the same thing. Maybe
Right.
it's a little different, but you're all going to class, you're going to the calf, you're playing a sport if you're playing a sport, and then you're going back to your dorm and chilling and finding things to do.
You want to know what's interesting about school as you're coming up in school that I've noticed is that literally if you go to school from preschool to end of college, right? Every year, it's only been a year, but it's dramatically different. Like your life is just dramatically different, however that is.
Agreed.
So like if you're in 7th grade in May, that May when you're in 8th grade is going to be so much different because you're going to have different teachers. You're going to be, just doing different things.
It's a bigger jump going from like 7th and 8th grade is a bigger jump than going from like sophomore to junior year of college or something. I feel
like a good example, I guess you could say, is like, all right, so my freshman year I lived in the dorms, and then the next year I lived at my house.
That's a big difference, though.
That's right. That's my point. And
right.
So, but then the next year I lived in Alston. Right, had an off-campus apartment.
Oh, like you personally at Fisher?
Yeah.
Yes.
So each year is something. It's like I remember just being in a completely different situation than the last year.
Right.
But then when you graduate, you realize like it's way easier for the years to be the same.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Like when you're in school, every year changes, whether you want it to or not. Like it's your life the next year at that same time is going to be a lot different. But when you graduate college, or when you graduate high school and you just start working, say you want to be like a,
like a plumber or some shit?
Yeah, like a fucking auto mechanic or something.
Right.
Like, let's just say you want to be an auto mechanic. If you get the job that you want right after high school, then it's like basically the same. It's not that you'd have the same year every year, but not a lot changes, because it would basically be like if you're in 7th grade, right? And then the next year you're in 7th grade again.
Yeah, it's the same fucking routine.
Right. But up until that point where you're done with school, every year is just dramatically different.
I understand.
I'm trying to make things dramatically different every year, but I've noticed that after college, it's like it matters what you do to do that. Like in the sense of when you're in school and you're just going to the next grade, you're not really trying for the next year to be different.
I don't know. I was.
Well, no, you are, but like you have no choice, even if you're not, because it's like the next year is going to be way different than
right.
the year it was.
You have no say.
Right. You have no say. And when you become an adult, it's like if you don't try with something, like a year goes by and you're exactly in the same spot.
You have to put in some effort.
Right. Compared to like school, where it's like every year you're just instantly in a different
yeah, because you're on a curriculum in school. Like you're on a set of activities that you're doing every day, certain schedules, certain classes, and then outside of school you're saying you're fucking in the same spot unless you make an effort to change, because you're not on a set curriculum. You're kind of on like your own schedule, and it is what you make it.
Right.
Am I interpreting that correctly?
Yeah. It's just interesting to me how much things change every year while you're in school, and then when you're out of school. Don't get me wrong, the next year it could be way different, but I'm just saying it's like harder for it to be different.
I feel you. That makes sense. You confused me at the beginning, but now I got it.
I'm bad at explaining things, so.
No worries. I get it now. But, I mean, put it this way. Overall theme of this episode is school was really kind of funny to look back and kind of talk about, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, yep.
Fair to say?
Yeah. Did you ever get sent to the principal's office ever?
So this is probably a good thing to end on. So I did get sent to the principal's office, but it was more of like a dean's thing. It wasn't a principal at Governor's. It was like headmaster. So they lived at the mansion house on campus, and he was like the rule of the roost in terms of in charge of the school. But the dean was like the disciplinary guy. You did not want to get sent to the dean's office. And I lived next to this kid named Tripp. His name was actually Alfred, but he was the third Alfred, so they called him Tripp. I thought that was always pretty cool. But we lived next door to each other, like room-wise, and we both liked to smoke cannabis. And I remember we put a hole through our wall, and our beds were like in the same location because the room layout was the same. And we put posters over the hole, but then at nighttime, he would have this vape. Excuse me, I just burped. And we passed the vape through the hole to each other. And I remember Twitter just became a thing at this point. And he tweeted out "bowls through the holes" at Murph Dog or whatever my Twitter name was, and I fucking like favorited it or retweeted it or whatever. And again, this was when Twitter was first becoming a thing, and this is how fucking culty prep school is, small community, everyone knows.
somehow or another, the dean found that tweet, and I remember getting an email, like, report to the dean's office. And in my head, I'm thinking, like, I didn't do anything that wrong. Like, what the fuck? You know, your mind's racing. You really don't know what you did. And he just brings up this tweet on his computer, and he goes, yeah, so, like, what does bowls through the holes at Murph Dog mean? And I just go, honestly, like, I have no idea. Oh, like bowls of, like ice cream. Like, yeah, like, bowls of ice cream, like, through the hole. You know what I mean? That was the only time I got sent to the fucking dean's office. But it was because of social media.
Yeah.
But it's just funny that it was bowls of cannabis through the hole, not bowls of ice cream.
And he believed you?
I mean, you couldn't prove it unless you drug tested my penis.
Right.
You know? Or my pee, I mean. So, I mean, I was just like, yeah. And he definitely didn't believe it. And he was just like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, just like, I would put your Twitter on private, and I wouldn't really tweet anything out like this or anything that's, you know, it can be misconstrued. And I just said, you are correct. I will not do that. And then, yeah, kind of got brushed under the rug. What about you? Principal office story.
Let's see. I mean, when I was in 8th grade, I kind of felt like I got sent there like a good amount of times, but also the first time I ever got sent to the principal's office was in 8th grade, which, like, it should have been way before that. But
what did you do?
It wasn't a carton of milk. It was like a bottle of milk. You know, like the bottles,
yeah,
plastic bottles. I hit the middle of it with the cap on so that the cap would, like, just go flying in the lunchroom. I got sent to the office.
Isn't it bullshit? I'll fucking,
yeah,
like...
I remember that year also, I brought a soccer ball into the bathroom, and we were just kicking it around, just, like, being kids, just fucking around with the ball, like, just in this closed space. And we would kick it really hard so it would bounce off the wall, and you'd have to, like, in the bathroom was really, like, small in dimensions. So I kicked it, and it ricocheted off the wall and shattered the mirror, and I got sent to the office for that. I came clean about it though.
Fuck yeah.
Well, it was just I knew that they were gonna find it, and then they would be like, all right, so who did this?
Yeah, this long investigation.
I knew even at 14, like, just fucking admit it so you don't have to, you know, deal with that. I remember another time I was in music class with some buddies.
Music class.
And there was a closet in music class, right? And we were watching a movie because it was just like one of those classes. And we were just sneaking into the closet, and it was a huge closet, and we were just sneaking in there and just fucking, like, just literally just to have a high of not doing what we're supposed to do, really. And I got caught doing that, and it's really uncomfortable just getting caught when you're, like, in a closet, just like, oh, hey.
Yeah, what the fuck you doing in there? He probably thought you were doing something crazy.
I mean, no, it was a huge closet. So, like, well, the thing is, though, is I did it with 2 other people, and only me and this other kid got caught, and the other kid was in there hiding, and then he sneaks out after we get sent to the office.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a little Devlin.
Yeah.
Kind of fucking kudos to him for not getting caught, though.
Yeah, and then I remember going to the principal's office, and, like...
Jesus, dude.
I remember...
Like, how many times you go in the principal's office?
Well, this is still the same time.
Oh.
And I have been more times, though. I just, off the top of my head, I can't think of, like, funny ones. But I remember the assistant principal telling me that the mirror that I shattered, he was like, yeah, well, this is going to be about $500 to fix. And I remember saying to him, wait, for a mirror? No, I don't think it's going to be $500. And then he was like telling me, no, yeah, it is, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't going to be $500. It just wasn't. I remember him just saying that, and me, now at 26, being like, dude, fuck you for, like, lying.
Yeah, fuck you for being a hard ass. I'll go to Family Dollar and get a fucking $5 mirror.
I think that was 8th grade. And then I got caught doing graffiti in 8th grade in the school bathroom. I was, like, writing with marker and stuff. But that was something that, like, I didn't get caught in the act of. But they were on to me for like a month. It was me and 2 other suspects. And the reason why we got caught actually was because we did an art project. And they put the art project in the hallway. And I incorporated graffiti in my art project, which looked similar to the bathroom. And then the other 2 people, I was drawing on their project because they wanted me to put something in particular, like graffiti-wise. So that's why they were the other 2 suspects, because our art projects were out in the hall.
Damn, that's some CSI type stuff.
Yeah, and then I had to help clean. I had to help the custodian clean the school for a month, for an hour every day. Definitely should have got suspended, but didn't get suspended because like my parents helped me out in that one.
Shouts out to the parents.
Yep.
Well, fucking Jesus, Adam. You know, you come a long way. You don't get sent to the principal's office anymore.
No.
I don't get sent to the dean office anymore, luckily.
No. I got caught smoking weed in high school.
Yeah, actually, I have to tell it. You have to tell that story to the next episode when you accidentally smoked something that you thought was cannabis.
Oh yeah, actually, I have that written down.
And that's a cliffhanger for next one.
Yeah, I have that written down over here. But yeah. I have to tell you something before this. We can end on this.
Okay.
Did you know that Colgate, like the toothpaste company, they have something where so say if I have bad breath, right? And you want to tell me that I have bad breath, but you don't want to tell me because you don't want me to be like mad.
Right.
There's like an anonymous like care package or something that Colgate does that you can send to somebody anonymous, and it's basically just like, hey, this is from an anonymous person, but like I just want to let you know your breath is really, really bad and you have to do something about it. So here are some things that can like maybe help you.
Can you really?
Yeah, Colgate has like basically a fruit basket of like for someone anonymously to tell you that your breath stinks. Isn't that crazy?
How the fuck did you find that out?
I heard it on a podcast earlier.
That is insane.
Yep.
Does it cost money?
I would assume so. One time my buddy Dante, and I feel like you'll remember this. He from an the STD hotline or whatever, where like if you have an STD and you might have given it to someone else, you can have this number, text that person saying like, hey, this is an anonymous person telling you that I have an STD and you might have one too, basically.
Right.
And I remember my buddy Dante, as a joke, sent it to a bunch of us, and I remember screenshotting it and sending it to you. For some reason, you were the first person in my head that like was like, "All right, James, you will know what to do."
He's had an STD.
And I'm like, dude, what does this mean?
I haven't.
What does this mean? Blah blah blah. And I remember texting you about it. I was probably 19.
I do remember that.
Yeah,
I do recall that.
that's a fucking cruel joke.
That is a cruel joke.
That is a cruel joke. I was real scared.
Well, I think you didn't have the STD, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I found out that it was my friend, but
Well, fucking rights.
yeah, I think this is our longest episode.
It is. We're on the 58-minute-ish mark, but if you're listening again, like I always say, I love you, and keep listening. The videos will get going soon. My Insta is murph.17. Adam, you can take us home with a little goodbye for the people.
All right. So if you want to check out some collectibles of mine, go to adamlucy.com. My Instagram handle is at Adam_Lucy. And check out some paintings. If you have any interest, contact inquiries at adamlucy.com. And I'll gladly get back to you with some quotes. Thank you very much for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Peace out, people.